The words then and then are often confused, but they have distinct meanings and uses. Then functions as an adverb, primarily relating to time. It specifies a point in time indicating when something happened or will happen. For example, one could say, I went to the library yesterday, then I went home. In this sentence then indicates the sequence of events, first going to the library and subsequently going home. Then can also be used to describe a specific time, such as back then things were different. This usage refers to a particular period in the past. Further, then can appear in conditional sentences, often paired with if, such as if it rains, then we will stay inside. Here, then introduces the consequence that follows if the condition is met. Then, on the other hand, serves as a conjunction used for comparison. It connects two elements, highlighting the difference between them. For instance, my car is faster than yours compares the speed of two cars. Then can be used to compare adjectives, adverbs, or nouns. In the sentence, he runs faster than me, then compares the speed at which two people run. Similarly, I have more books than you compares the quantity of books possessed by two individuals. To clearly differentiate between then and then, remember that then relates to time or sequence, whereas then introduces a comparison. A common error is using then when then is appropriate, or vice versa. For example, saying I went to the store then I went home is incorrect. The correct sentence is I went to the store, then I went home, because it describes a sequence of events in time. Conversely, saying my car is faster than yours is incorrect. The correct sentence is my car is faster than yours, because it compares the speed of two cars. It is essential to use then and then correctly to avoid confusion and ensure clear communication. Incorrect usage can alter the meaning of your sentences and potentially mislead your audience. Therefore, always consider whether you are referring to time or making a comparison when choosing between then and then. Let's go over some examples to illustrate the correct usage of then and then. Firstly, consider the sentence I will eat dinner, then watch television. Here, then indicates the order of events. The action of eating dinner precedes the action of watching television. Secondly, in the sentence she is taller than her brother, then is used to compare the heights of two people. It highlights that her height exceeds her brother's height. Thirdly, consider the sentence if you finish your homework, then you can play video games. In this case, then introduces the consequence that follows the completion of homework. Another example is the movie was longer than I expected. Here, then compares the actual length of the movie to the expected length. Furthermore, he arrived earlier, then everyone else left uses then to describe the sequence of events, indicating that his arrival preceded the departure of others. It's important to note that the correct usage of then and then is crucial for clarity in writing and speech. Misusing these words can lead to misinterpretations and confusion. To avoid these errors, always double-check whether you are referring to time or making a comparison. In summary, then is an adverb related to time, sequence, or consequence, while then is a conjunction used for comparison. By understanding their distinct roles, you can ensure that your writing is accurate and effective. Let's delve a bit deeper into the nuances of then. Apart from indicating a sequence of events, then can also function as an adjective. In this context, it signifies being such at the time indicated. For instance, the then current president refers to the president who held office at a specific time in the past. This usage is often seen in historical or journalistic writing. Additionally, then can be used to express a logical consequence or inference. For example, if that is true, then we have a problem. Here, then introduces the logical outcome of the stated condition. Moreover, then can be used to soften a statement or introduce a slight hesitation. For example, I was thinking, then, maybe we could go to the park. In this case, then adds a subtle pause and indicates that the speaker is considering a suggestion. On the other hand, then is primarily used for comparisons, but it can also appear in certain idiomatic expressions. For instance, the phrase no sooner than is used to indicate that one event happens immediately after another. For example, no sooner had I arrived than the phone rang. This construction emphasizes the immediacy of the second event following the first. Another idiomatic use of than is in expressions like other than or rather than. Other than means except for or besides. For example, I have no other option than to accept the offer. Rather than indicates a preference or alternative. For example, I would prefer to stay home rather than go out. Understanding these idiomatic uses of than can further enhance your comprehension and usage of the English language. It's important to note that while then and than have distinct functions, they can sometimes appear in close proximity in a sentence, which can lead to confusion. For example, consider the sentence, he finished the race faster than I did, then he celebrated. Here, then compares the speeds of two runners, while then indicates the sequence of events. To avoid confusion in such cases, carefully analyze the context and determine whether the word is serving a temporal or comparative function. In addition to understanding the basic rules and nuances of then and then, it's also helpful to practice using these words in different contexts. Try writing your own sentences using then and then to solidify your understanding. You can also analyze examples from books, articles, and other sources to see how these words are used in real-world writing. Furthermore, consider asking a friend or colleague to review your writing and provide feedback on your usage of then and then. Constructive criticism can help you identify any areas where you may be making mistakes. By combining theoretical knowledge with practical application, you can master the correct usage of then and improve your overall writing skills. Remember that consistent practice and attention to detail are key to avoiding common errors. One way to think about the difference between then and then is to remember their etymological roots. Then comes from the Old English word than, which relates to time. Then, on the other hand, comes from the Old English word then, which relates to comparison. Knowing the origins of these words can provide a helpful mnemonic device for remembering their proper usage. Let's explore some more complex examples to further illustrate the distinction between then and then. Consider the sentence, if you study hard, then you will pass the exam. Here, then introduces the logical consequence of studying hard. Now, consider the sentence, she is more experienced than her colleagues. In this case, then compares her experience level to that of her colleagues. Another example is, he went to the store, then he realized he had forgotten his wallet. Here, then indicates the sequence of events, with going to the store preceding the realization of forgetting the wallet. Consider the sentence, the cake was sweeter than I expected. In this instance, then compares the actual sweetness of the cake to the expected sweetness. Furthermore, if it doesn't rain, then we will go for a hike uses then to introduce the consequence of not raining. To summarize, then it's used to indicate time, sequence, consequence, or as an adjective referring to past time, while then is used to make comparisons between two things. Pay close attention to the context of the sentence to determine which word is appropriate. Using then and then correctly is essential for clear and effective communication, both in writing and in speech. Mastering the nuances of these words will help you avoid common errors and enhance your overall language skills.